Now let us reflect on the concept of managerial power. So far we have discussed about the role of manager, that how managers are performing this art of managing different resources. Now when we say that it is the art of conveying and delegating tasks, we are basically talking about the kind of power. The people who are convinced by you are basically following you or following whatever you are saying because of some kind of power that you hold. Now what is that power, how that power is defined, and how that power is derived, that is also very important when we are talking about a manager. If we could look at the general task of management, that is like the basic planning, organizing, leading and controlling, these are some basic functions performed by managers. But the kind of art that we are referring to is something beyond these basic generic functions that we are talking about. The manager role is more beyond these kind of generic functions. That is the power, that is the ability of a manager that makes a situation change. When we are talking about the skills so much of a manager, we are talking about his abilities, and that abilities are his power. The latent power that a manager possesses is something that makes him different from one to another, and that is why we have a different designation of managers which are different from the other human resources working in an organization, and that is why managers are critical. Now managerial power in organization is their ability to mobilize resources. As I say that it is very difficult for you to convince other people in a similar manner the way you are thinking, and that is a true sign of power, wherein the people are convinced by you not because you are terrorizing them or you are being a very tyrant boss, but it is because they are following what you are saying. And this kind of subordination will come when you have that ability to convince the other people to make them work. Now why some people are having this kind of power as compared to other people? There could be some possible sources, there could be something that we have to look beyond, that it is not just because they are effective managers and they are successful managers that they are able to do it, but because we have to reflect on the kind of position or the kind of acceptability of themselves into an organization. That means by position we mean that how they are well received in an organization. There must be something that they are doing which is beyond the role of being just simply efficient. So how they are being efficient, how they are being effective, that depends upon how they are able to do that. So from where they are getting this source of power, what is defining this power, is something that we have to reflect on, the concept of understanding the role and power of manager. So typically we understand that managers do have a power to promote people in an organization. They can do the hiring, they acquire people, they can even fire people from an organization. These are some explicit powers that we could see, that they can reward and they can remove a person from a position, they can demote them, they can promote them. But the latent power is where they are actually identifying the real talent, putting the right man at the right job, moving the right thing at the right time and in the right amount of quantity, is a kind of ability that a person must acquire with the passage of time and must have when he is occupying that kind of position. To deliver this job also, a manager not just have to be technically equipped but also have to be psychologically sound as well, in terms of understanding this position where he stands and what he is expected to deliver. Now, the effectiveness of that power comes in two kind of capacities. One is the access to the resources and the information and the required support, and the other is the ability to get that cooperation. So when you are able to make people work, people are working according to your instructions, it is basically you are able to get that cooperation. These two capacities, let us reflect on each of these. When we say that the manager is having an access to the resources, information and required support, well, he is able to have that access because of the position that he is placed and designated at an organization. By the nature of his occupation, by the nature of his designation, by the nature of his position in an organization, he has an access. But to what extent a manager can easily communicate on important matters with the top level officials is his ability. Now, what kind of matters that we are talking about that he can easily communicate? When we are referring to the important matters, it could be that whether a manager is able to reach out to the top officials at the time when he wants something to put on the agenda? Is he able to communicate those kind of critical matters which are required to be discussed with the top level officials? Because it is not necessary all the time that the top level officials are interested in the matters in which you want to put it up as a matter to be discussed, because top level people are going to discuss the matters what they believe in and what they want or they consider important as. But to convince the top level officials that whatever you are thinking is important and need to be discussed, so to bring that thing into a table of discussion is also an art. So how and to what extent a manager is able to communicate these matters which are related to the daily activities, which are related to the lower level management issues, which are related to the resources required at the lower level managers and the middle level manager functioning. These matters are not as important to the top level managers as it is important to the middle and lower level managers. So it is the art, it is the ability of a manager that how easily he can communicate these matters. And by easiness, I mean that it is not creating any resentment between the top level and the managers. It is like there is no rift between the managers and they are easily able to communicate in a very convenient manner, than in a very formal and you could say a very courteous manner, that they are able to communicate and convince the top level officials also to discuss the matter on the table. And obviously when it is moving to the table, it has the chances to be imposed of also, it has a chances to get a green signal also. So that ability is very, very important. So it's not just because you are having the access to information, but how you are using those opportunities, how you are using those resources, how you are able to reuse that information. That also makes a lot of difference between a manager and an efficient and effective manager. How much you are able to intercede favorably in a matters of others and solve them. For example, if there are matters related to, let us say, a low level employees, there could be some kind of a grudge, some kind of conflict management that you are solving to, but those matters also require some kind of policy changing, some flexibility in rules and regulations. So how favorably you can intercede into that and you are able to solve it. That also defines upon the capability and power of a manager. Only a manager who is having that power to do that, who is having that capacity to do that, and who is having that ability to do that can be a successful manager in that scenario. Otherwise a manager is just a manager having a designation. If you are not able to do that freely, easily, conveniently, in a positive manner, the constructive usage of that position and designation is not served. So interceding favorably in matters of others and solve them could be related to conflict resolution, could be related to any matter which is of the other employee, and you are able to resolve it quickly and without any resentments later. Facilitate with benefits to subordinates quickly. When you are able to sensitize the people about the task to be done, you should also be able to recognize the need of the lower level employees that they require to perform whatever kind of resources are required, whether you are able to facilitate them. It's like it's very normal that the lower level employees come to the middle level managers, whoever are the responsible managers on their head. So they go and report them, their issues, their grudges. But are you able to convey them and communicate them to the top level officials, or do you have that power and autonomy to facilitate those kinds of resources to the lower level employees? If yes, you are a successful manager, you are doing your job well. But if not, then there are some kind of chances that you have to reflect on what you are doing. When we are talking about critical decisions, sometimes a manager has to make some quick decisions without going through the multi-layer approvals of the top level managers. Now that can only be possible when you are having a formal rapport with the top level officials and also an informal rapport with them. When you are able to have a good formal reputation with them, you are involved in the time of decision making, you are involved when the policies are being formed, you are involved when the rules are being changed or when they are planning something to change. The top level authorities must know and recognize the managers in an organization. If you are known to them, if you are in the in group, if you are the inner circle of the top level officials, if they recognize you personally, you are in. But when you are making and talking about critical decisions, it sometimes have to be quickly made. And if you do not develop that good rapport with the top level officials, it is very difficult for you to make those critical decisions on your own, because then you have to go through those approvals, and the top level officials will not be very freely leaving you with that kind of decision making. But that is possible if you are able to build that rapport, not just formally but also informally, where you can settle the matter quickly. You can inform them maybe informally, or you are able to do that process that within time. So it is like when a person requires something, when they need something, you are able to facilitate them and make some critical and quick decisions, and those decisions are not discarded by the top level official. If that is the case, you are a powerful manager. The second ability is to get the cooperation from the subordinates. Now, when we say that you are able to convince, to make people work, we are talking about that power wherein you are able to get that subordination and cooperation from the people, not out of terror, but because they believe in you, because they trust you, and because they perceive the power within you. And what kind of power it could be, we could see some of the sources that what kind of power they are referring to. So the lower level employees, the first line managers, they look up to their managers because they understand and they believe that the managers have the capability of this outward power. Now, what is this outward power? It could be the power with the upward hierarchy in an organization. That is, middle level managers have access to the top level managers. They are having a good rapport with the top level managers. They are having access to the power position in an organization, so they are able to convince them. This is one of the outward power. Another outward power is that they are having a good network, not just within the organization but also with the suppliers, with the distributors, with the external parties which are working with an organization. So this is a kind of a power that a manager can develop, the manager must have, and the manager must possess, because these power with the top levels and with the external parties are actually giving an example to the lower level people to follow and subordinate you in a manner that you desire. So this could be because of the three reasons that we could say the outward powers can be sourced from. The first of the source is the lines of supply. Now, managers have the capacity to bring in the things that their organization's domain need. What kind of needs could be the organization that looking for? There could be different kind of resources, some kind of capital investment, some kind of opportunities that can be exploited better. So if a manager has the capability to recognize the needs of an organization, and then he also have the ability to get it in within the organization, the management is obviously going to be very, very positive with this kind of manager. And if that manager is able to do that, his juniors, his subordinates are obviously going to be in awe of his power, that he has the capability and ability to do so. And that is why they do not go against him, or they do not resent any of his decision, but basically they subordinate them. Another kind of source of outward power is the lines of information, which that we have understood that it is the upward power, that is his reach to the top level officials, in addition to the outward power, which is with the you could say the suppliers, or we could say the distributors. So the reach of the manager to those resources which an organization require, if he has this ability to bring it in, if he has the ability to have a good rapport formally, informally with the top officials, if he has the ability to have a good rapport with the outward networking, then he is in his power position, and he is able to communicate the desirable goals, designate those kinds of goals to these kind of lower level employees, and they are the one who are able to give them cooperation wholeheartedly. And the third source of power is the line of support. When we say the line of support, it is basically the autonomy of a manager, where he can innovate some kind of risk taking, some kind of decision making, quick decision making that we have just seen. And if he is able to do that without having go through those kind of process of approvals, and informally also the people at the lower level understand and also know it, that the manager has the ability to get those approvals, even if the manager do not have the formal approval with them at the time, but he is so confident and he is being showing these kinds of signs earlier also in the practice that he has the implicit approval because he already shared that repo with the top level official. So the lower level people know that even if he does not have a formal approval, he can do it. He can bring that approval. So there are no issues working with the manager. So the lower level people will be wholeheartedly, happily giving you cooperation when they understand your manager is powerful. And that manager, to be powerful, is very important for you to reflect on, that you must understand the needs of the lower level employees, the resources that they require, and you must also understand the nature and the working style of the top level officials and how to strike a balance between these two levels. And that is what the role of an art of manager is all about. Let us look at the rewards and challenges of being a manager as well. When we are talking about the rewards of a manager, the manager has to create a work environment in which the organizational member can work to the best of their abilities. That means the biggest responsibility of manager is to create an ecosystem. You don't have to always stand on the head of a person to instruct them, to guide them, but basically if you create a culture or an ecosystem in which people know that how to work, what is your working style, how you delegate tasks, and how you expect performance, and how you give feedback, what kind of work style you have, that is being nurtured through that kind of practices. So that is very rewarding for a manager himself when he see people, that people are actually working in a manner which is desired. That is basically a kind of a positive work culture, and that is rewarding for a manager to see that this is what his vision is, which is now functioning. They have opportunities to think creatively and imaginatively. They obviously have a kind of sense of fulfillment when they work. They get support, they coach other people, they do help other people, they nurture other people to develop and grow in their careers. This is very rewarding for a manager. When they look for a work with variety of people, we are talking about diversity in an organization. Now with diversity, people have to deal with different genders, people have to deal with the people of different disabilities. Sometimes people also have to deal with people of different nationalities. This gives a very creative, this gives a very creative aspect of the job of manager, shared to the role of a manager, that he has to work with variety of people. And when we are working with different people, our different personality attributes are also revealed. So this makes the job of a manager very interesting, that when he have to work in a different situation or different people or different resources, these differences in the conditions actually make the job of a manager very, very rewarding. When we are talking about the recognition and the status in the community, that is very rewarding for a manager. So we have seen the kind of reflections coming from industrialist and former chairman. These kinds of views are basically a kind of an appreciation, you could say, that the efforts of a manager are being appreciated. So these kinds of rewards are basically helping and boosting the morale of managers also to make more efforts and better efforts to become more and more efficient and effective. They play an influential role in an organization to achieve the goals. They are the one who receive better compensations also in form of salaries, bonuses, and other options. Managers are always needed in an organization to harmonize all the other resources in a unified direction. But at the same time, let us also reflect on some challenges, because this is not a very easy task. As I say, that to manage the resources all together in a desirable way to achieve the unified goals is a very, very hard work. So that basically it is a very challenging time. A manager has to be on toes to perform these functions. Dealing with people and dealing with resources is very, very challenging, because they are not always in the required number. It is very challenging for managers to work with limited resources many a times, and to allocate resources as desired by the people. Sometimes it is not possible. So every time whatever you are thinking will not be possible in a manner that you are thinking, but still you have to convince people and make them work, and make them work positively. That is a very, very hard task to deal with. They have more duties. They sometimes may have some clerical duties as well. Additional duties is related to their supervision and monitoring role. They also have to sometimes perform the technical jobs also. Sometimes they have to demonstrate the skills also to the employees who are performing the job. So in addition to the supervision, monitoring, and motivating people, they might have to sometimes demonstrate skills also, which is difficult. They also have to deal with various personalities When we are talking about diversity as an opportunity, we also have to look diversity as a challenge, because it's what is suitable for one is not suitable for the other. The condition in which the one person is working comfortably, the other person will not be very comfortable. They may have also to make sometimes choices with resource limited and some kind of limited conditions, limited scenarios in the crisis management. For example, recently we have seen the COVID scenario. So during that time, when people were not able to come back to the organization physically, managers have faced a very challenging time to manage work, that how they have to ensure that the people will remain motivated while working from home. And despite of all the challenges of working from home, they have to keep the spirit of the work going. So we could say that they have sometimes have to deal in chaotic and uncertain situations also, just like a pandemic recently we have seen. They have to blend their skills, knowledge, their ambitions, or whatever experiences they are learning with the passage of time in organization to achieve the goals. They also have to sometimes depend on other person's work, not actually sometimes every time, because they are delegating the tasks to the other people to do. But they have to ensure that whatever they are delegating is actually accomplished in a manner in which they desire. And that is why this task is equally challenging. So when we look at the role of a manager, it is a very, very rewarding role. It is a very, very constructive role, but it can become only productive when it is conveyed in a similar manner that you are thinking and making people work. It requires a lot of challenge. It requires a lot of hard work. It requires a lot of skills to deal with different people, different situations, different organizations, different ideology of people coming together and pooling their efforts together towards a unified goal. That is the responsibility and challenge of a manager. Thus, let us summarize what we have learned today. We have tried to understand the performer's perspective in an organization, that who the manager is, what are the different types of managers in an organization across different levels of a management hierarchy. We have also tried to reflect on the corporate perspective of a manager, that how they see the top officials, how they look at managers. Then we have also tried to understand the rewards and challenges and the source of managerial power for a manager in an organization. Thank you.